It's sad.
Marilyn, I'm so sad. I'm not gonna be there on
Oh no.
Friday. Yeah, I know. This was like such a last minute show, but hopefully I'll get to see you at a different thing, like maybe at one of your networking events or something like that.
Oh yeah. I am
Yeah.
playing at the Tacoma Park Folk Festival September 7th.
Oh, didn't you play that like last year?
I did, and I'm playing
Yeah.
again now, and I'm headlining this year.
Fun.
Very
That's so
exciting.
exciting. Congrats.
Thank
Well, for
you.
those who are just tuning in, we're in the middle of the conversation with
Yeah.
Marilyn, who's going to be headlining.
Hmm.
Welcome to the DMV Music Alliance's local frequency podcast. We've got a whole new gang with us today. I'm David Johnson. We've got Sarah, we've got Jen, and we've got Marilyn as our big guest. She's going to be playing a local frequency concert this weekend at DC 9, and we're all here to hear her story and find out what she's all about and see where the music is. She's a huge person in our local community, does a lot of good around the world, and it's fantastic. So, Marilyn, kick us off. Tell the world what you're about, who you are, your journey, what you're doing. Fill us in. Get us started.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. And shout out to the DMV Music Alliance for putting on this incredible showcase this Friday. I'll just quickly mention that since it's coming up so soon, for any DMV listeners and locals, if you want to check it out, there will be four amazing female artists on the bill, including myself. Doors are at 7. I've never played at DC 9, but I'm very excited. So
Great.
yeah, and then also I have a single releasing that day, um, which is part of a bigger project. I have my debut album releasing in October.
Yeah,
So lots of exciting things happening.
So this,
totally.
let's start with the single. Tell us a little bit about the record, and like where you're coming from with it. What's the single that's going to drop? Where's your process? What's going on with this record? Tell me about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So this will be the second single off the album. It's called Naked, and it's about kind of finding those people who make you feel seen, you're most comfortable. And I found this was a very like timely song for me because I was just in LA for 9 months and
Hmm.
I'd never been there before, and I'd like left my family, my friends, all of my com like my entire comfort zone, like everything. And I felt very lost, to be honest. Like I felt like my identity was slipping away. But it's like with those certain people that you feel like yourself and you don't have to like put up a front and like figure out, they just understand you for who you are. And so that's where Naked stemmed from, was from me just kind of completely relocating in this whole new world.
Hmm.
So
Right.
like how does the LA scene differ from like the East Coast scene? Like what were the big differences? I'm very curious.
Well, I think that like starting off, just like visually, the geography is so incredibly different. Like the vegetation, like down to the vegetation. Like I'm used to like pine trees and like, I don't know, just like grass and like
Yeah.
just like, DC in the Maryland area, there's like so many trees. In California, it's very desert-like. You have a lot of cacti, palm trees,
Mm-hmm.
um, succulents and all that. So that for one, and the layout is so different. You got the mountains, the beach, um, and it just felt very foreign. Like when I was there, I truly felt like I was in Mars. Like I just didn't know where I was at any point. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like you can drive around like in DC, you don't have to use the GPS, but like when I don't know if you guys have ever like lived in another place, but like starting from ground zero can just be a little intimidating.
Well, did you know that we just beat them in like average time of commute or whatever?
Wait,
We're
no.
winning. Yeah, the DMV is actually winning versus LA. It's like 33 versus 31 minutes or something on
The
average.
average time of commute here?
Yep,
Dude,
we're
honestly,
winning.
that's shocking because it takes an hour to get everywhere in LA is what it felt like.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, I was shocked, but also like I experience it every day. So I was like, you know what? I feel validated that this is like not normal, you know?
Yeah. But honestly, it's not even that like the people were like terrible or anything. I just think that like it takes a while. Like I feel like I'm an onion and it like takes a while for me to be comfortable opening up.
You have layers, Shrek.
We have layers and it's like you can't just like give it all up like instantly the person you meet. Like it just takes time. And so when you're
Yeah,
like making new friends, like making new friends is hard.
totally.
Right. What were you in LA for? You were at a program out there. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I was in this program called Los Angeles Academy for Music, for Artists and Music Production, and it's in Santa Monica, and it's a private music academy co-founded by Stargate, who is this like hit producer duo. Um, and they've done records for Rihanna, Katy Perry, Beyonce, a ton of incredible artists that like I'm sure several, everyone knows these songs.
Hmm.
Like Firework by Katy Perry is a really big one that we all love. So they co-founded this incredible music academy. It was 9 months. We were in the studio Monday through Friday. We were writing and recording. We had to deliver a fully produced song by the end of the week. And then on Mondays, we would like present it and get peer and mentor feedback.
Cool.
Yeah, they brought in a lot of industry mentors. So we had workshops, we had, mentors in our co-writing rooms, we had performances. It was like a 360 artist development situation.
That's fantastic. How did
That's
you get into
awesome.
that program?
They have how did I get in? Was that the question?
Yeah.
They have an application and anyone can apply. Yeah, you can just go to, I think it's LAAMP. I want to say .com, but if that's not it, just like Google LAMP and like they have applications every year.
Excellent.
So when did you get back? It was a year, right?
I got back in June. Yeah, it's an academic school year, so September to through June.
And how many people were in the program?
About 37, and it was a mix of producers, artists, and songwriters. And in some cases, like you'd wear multiple hats. So I was an artist and songwriter. So I would at some points like play the part of writing for myself, and sometimes I'd write for others.
Cool.
So yeah, I was able to write a lot of songs and build my catalog. Some songs that I wrote out there will be on my album. And yeah, I'm very excited to share those.
How many songs are on the album?
This debut album will be 8 tracks.
Nice.
Nice. Exciting.
Thank you. Thank you. It's self-titled Marilyn. It's kind of a coming of age album of womanhood and the experiences that I've had like through I don't know, the past 5 years, like maybe even longer, to be honest. So
Hmm.
it's very introspective.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Writing from the heart. Totally.
Yeah. Writing from the heart, very, very vulnerable. In fact, the first single that I released off the album is called Neil Young.
Mhm.
And I'll just take a moment to dive into that. It's actually kind of deep. So are we all ready?
Of course. So,
Okay. So Neil Young was inspired by my dad's long battle with early onset Alzheimer's.
hmm
And for those who aren't as familiar with Alzheimer's, it's a memory loss disease. There currently is no cure, and he battled that for several years, and it was very, very difficult. But he eventually forgot my name, and but when I'd play him his favorite music and favorite artists, he would come to life. And that's how we kind of stayed connected through the disease and the deterioration of his memory. Like we stayed connected through music. And so that just goes to show how powerful it is. But Neil Young was one of his favorite artists. So if you listen to the song, it's about that. And 5% of the streaming royalties are going to the Alzheimer's Association to help give back and fund research and develop hopefully a cure in our lifetime. Cross our fingers. But yeah, my whole idea is every time you listen to the song, you're making a difference.
wow.
Love that. Love it. It's amazing the power, how deep music is. I was speaking to someone earlier today about how they did like a corporate retreat where they went to Nashville and did a songwriter exercise with the people that were there, and they all collaborated to write a song about it was about women in business and like the challenges that they face, which are extreme. And it was, they loved it. They worked with like this 21-year-old Nashville producer and came up with this amazing thing. And then later, it's like, it just goes to show it inspired one of the women to start a business for coaching other women in business and things like
Mm.
that. And it's one of those ones that we talk about too, that why do we do what we do? Why do we have this compulsion to like create this stuff when most of the time, we're just streaming it for like five people or whatever it is, playing it for, the bartender.
Hmm.
And it's just that the song just has to come out. It fights, and then you really see the power that one song can change the world because it touches just one person who then goes on to like do other things, and each person that they touch, that ripple effect, it really is like the frequency waves of what we do. If you visualize it, how the sound just continues to spread as it goes, it's truly a beautiful thing. I love that you have decided to like give that mission and use your personal experience to put your passion into that project. It's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. That's really why I started pursuing a music career in the first place, is because, yeah, my dad's battled with Alzheimer's. The first song that I ever released is in honor of my dad, and that one is called Memories, and I released that 5 years ago.
Mhm.
And that's honestly when I thought I was gonna lose him. He was battling Alzheimer's, but then he got COVID. And
Hmm.
at that point, it was just a really, really dark time. And this song Memories just came to me. And I felt like it was this like higher calling, like I have to like release this song into the world for him. And I dropped like everything.
Right.
And since then, like I released the song, and that kind of pushed me to take a leap of faith of my lifelong dream. And I never looked back since. But I've made it my mission to use my platform, my voice, and my music to help raise Alzheimer's awareness. I mean, it's not every song that I do, but it's my mission across the board.
Yeah, it's something that compels. Now, you as you're talking about that, it raises a question for me that can help like other people in the DMV and around the world who are listening to this podcast, because all three of them are just going to be amazing out there. I self-effacing part of that, Sarah and Jen, that's where we are. But like when you released a record 5 years ago and now you've been to like Lamp, talk about your release process. When we had Luke Roberts on here a week ago, one of the things we like to talk about, it's not just like the music, but it's also the process now of managing ourselves and all the things that we have to do. And that's a big part of our mission at the DMV Music Alliance, is trying to help people negotiate those aspects so that they can focus on producing more music. So when you first released, what was that like? And then now take us to where you are and what you've learned in the journey to like release where you are at this point. Like what have you learned along the way that you could share?
Yeah, well, it's definitely been seasons, but when I first released, I used an independent distributor, DistroKid. So like anyone who's looking to do that, and that was very like accessible, which was great because for the longest time I was under this impression that like you couldn't do music unless you had a record label, which is not true. So now anyone, who wants to put in the hard work and has a passion and dream can do it, which is great. So DistroKid was what I used. Um, and it was during COVID years, so I was just writing and recording remotely. I set up a studio at my house and I was working remotely with a producer in New York that I was connected with. And from there, just like it was kind of like a snowball effect. But I was really focused on writing and recording. Um, the first few years and like kind of my digital assets. And then as the years went by, I kind of shifted focus onto more like the business side of things. And now kind of going back to me at the Music Academy, I went back to kind of honing my craft. Um, just like being in the studio for 9 months, which was a really like blessing because I feel like truthfully it is hard to balance like what you need to prioritize and to do it all. So now that I spent that much time in the creative phase, now I'm in kind of my like marketing phase where I'm like releasing music, performing, doing like cool interview and podcasts like this.
Right. Okay. So the in terms of its like where do you put your percentage of stuff at this point? Like in terms of your marketing mix, when we talk sometimes with people, it's like I really only spend like 5 or 10% of my time actually playing music between all the different burdens of moving back and forth between all the different platforms, all the social media promotion that we have to do. It's like we create content to
Hmm.
promote our art, our
Hmm.
music. And it's like it's an interesting dichotomy to think that like content is this and then our music is this, right? How do you feel about that? And where do you find yourself in that space?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, but performing is a big way that I make money as an artist. So I do a lot of like gigs and it'll be like bars and stuff like that. So I'll play a lot of covers, but then I'll also have an opportunity to play my original. So I do feel like I perform a lot. Um, but in terms of the creating content, in my mind, I'm just kind of like technically there's the potential. It's like a lottery. Like there's the potential of like you gaining new fans. So I feel like it's my responsibility to like promote and create content to be able to connect with people who use social media where I would have never been able to in the past. Like it's kind of a blessing, but of course like but pros and cons, but I like to kind of frame it that way. Like it's
Right.
an opportunity for me to connect with people like all over the world who would have never been able to hear me or connect with me otherwise. Like if I was just in DC, you know?
Right, right. Like a million years ago, people, I was there in that day when, before the streaming and all those things, when we used to make music by carving it onto stone tablets with like chisels and things like that. And it was like in that day when we had an indie contract, the label couldn't really promote us because it was a regional thing, right? They were small. What people don't really get about physical media is that you had to get into the racks of the stores, which meant the things that your label produced for you were the record itself. They paid for the studio for you to get in. They gave you an advance that you had to earn back, the same as like, anything else.
Mhm.
And then they went around to the stores that they had the deals with, and they could put your records in those stores. But it's not like today, it's like the process of discovery then was like the label would pitch us to like college radio because, top 40 radio would never pick us up, right? When we were like playing back then. So the idea is that like literally when I think about it now and I'm putting a record out, mine drops Friday, and I'm like, I'm selling my CDs at my show literally the same way I sold records at my shows in the 90s. It is exactly the same, right? And
Yeah.
it's
How
not like streaming has changed it because the deal is somebody's got to hear it first before they want to buy something that has shrink wrap on it, right? So it's like the idea that I promote on social media to get people to listen to my stream, which then gets them to come to my show, which
Mhm.
then gets them to buy my CD, is the same chain, except now, like you say, we can do it all without anybody. So it's like
Mhm.
a really different thing. There's this like somehow magical thinking that back in the day before there was streaming, it was different. And I'm having a hard time finding that. I'm like, yeah, it's not like when we got on college radio, nobody ever paid us for that. It was
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like, and we never even knew if we got heard or something like that. We'd show up at like some different town and they'd be like, oh yeah, we heard you on the college radio station. And be like, oh, cool. I wonder how that happened. It'd be like a surprise or whatever. Today, I can see the 5 people who streamed me. I don't know how they got there, but they did it. It's like, what's it going to be? It's like that social media piece of it, though. Those were the services that the label would provide, right? So it's like we're our own labels now. And that's a
Mhm.
really different space because it's like this sense of entitlement that like this was always the one. It's like when I was young, I always thought the man was ripping me off. But now that I understand how hard it is for the man, now I understand that they actually did 90% of the work. And that because that's what the division is at this point, the posting of all the stuff, the promotion of it. It's like making the music, it's the joy of it, right? But the selling of it is a drudge. It's just
Oh my God, I know. I know, but it's like I just have to I honestly I'm just like I believe in the music so much that I'm like I have to put in the marketing side of it because I want people to hear what I believe in.
right. Did you get help with that out at Lamp? Did they give you any kind of guidance on like where to go with like, or is it really just more focused in on just the studio work and the craft?
We did have like marketing professionals come in and give us workshops.
Mhm.
And so from there, you kind of like make of it what you make of it. But it wasn't like one-on-one marketing rollout plans. But we did like have these kind of seminars and workshops where they'd like do PowerPoints and you could kind of like pick their brains and figure out what would work best for you. And that's the other thing. It's like I feel like every artist is so different that like no marketing plan will like one marketing plan won't work for everybody. Like it's got to be so tailored.
Right. Okay, we're running out of time. I know you got a hard stop here in just a few minutes, but there's one more thing we got to talk about, and that is your meetup group that you have been running forever. Because it's what a huge resource. And for everyone out there who knows, DMVMA, we're all about the community. Marilyn has built her own community or like plugged into it, and we totally love what's going on there, and we're supporting her in that as much as we can. Tell everyone about like your group, how you meet up, where you get together, the whole situation.
Okay, amazing. Thank you. Thank you for supporting that. But yeah, so I started it I want to say last year. Honestly, I've lost track, but we've had I think six meetup groups, six events so far, and I do them quarterly. Um, we hosted at Franklin Hall in DC. It's very casual, so it's a DMV music industry and professional casual meetup group where you can go connect with other music professionals or enthusiasts to network, share what you're up to, help uplift, just have genuine conversations. And it's called Off the Record. And it's been great. We've had a really great turnout. We have artists, session players, photographers, bookers, producers, engineers, all sorts of people come. And I think it's for me, I started it because I felt like the DC area isn't like, the biggest music hub out there. And I was really craving more connection. So that's where it stemmed from.
That really is the thing. It's there's this thought that you have to leave DC to like get the love, right? To like make it happen. And really, what's interesting about our community, of course, we love our community. We know that the love is here local, and it's just that bringing us all together, like you've hit exactly why we exist. It's that, artists need to come up, venues need to come up, everybody has to come up at the same time instead of everybody fighting and disappearing and like going into all those corners. So it's when people ask me what does DMVMA do, I'm like, what do we bring to the table? Well, we bring the table so that everybody gets a seat, right? And that's what you've done with your meetup group, and it's why it's like right in the heart. It's like it feels so warm because that's exactly what we need to be doing. And we're totally happy to be supporting you in it. We're very happy that you're going to be playing at DC9 with a great lineup in a night or two. So who knows if you may be seeing this podcast before the show or after the show. I don't know, but the music never stops. It's always
Yeah.
on. Marilyn,
Well,
thank you so much
Marilyn,
for spending some time with us today. Sarah, you got a thought on the door?
well, I had a quick like comment. So you chose the openers for the show. I was
Mhm.
wondering if you wanted to just like say really quickly why you chose them,
Good
why
point.
they are your openers and why you want to plug them. It's an all-women show, like very exciting.
Yes, yes,
So I
yes.
just want to hear about why you chose them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they're all incredible local artists. It's going to be an intimate show. We're all doing solo acoustic, so that's a big one. And all these girls kind of rock out in that way. Um, I've, I go back with some of them, and some of them I just admire from a distance, and it's just an opportunity to be able to play together on a bill that we've been trying to for a while. But I'm a big proponent of uplifting women in the music industry, so I think that that was just kind of a natural thing. I didn't even think too much about it. I was just like reaching out to all my girlies. But I also knew that they played solo, and I was like, oh, this would make sense.
Yeah, well, I'm super excited for an all-women show and hoping to like bring that energy to our future local frequency shows. And of course, would love to have you in other ones. So I'm really excited to see you headline this.
Oh,
So
yes, thank you. And I'll just quickly shout out the lineup will be Madison Bailey, Leah Holtz, Empress, and myself.
yeah, super exciting. Get there early so you can see all four.
Right. And yeah, I'll see you there. So it's all on every single time. Marilyn, thank you so much for being with us
Thanks,
tonight.
Marilyn.
And thanks for everything you do for our community.
You
Remember,
guys are amazing.
follow Marilyn on the socials, find her
Yeah.
thing, check in with dmvmusic.org to get all the good stuff, and we'll see you next time on the local frequency. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.